Yo, Malik here back in the video, and today I got something a little bit different. Today I got One Piece, the freedom of genre. Don't know what this video is about, but this person right here requested it, and yeah, let's hop right into it.
It's me again with more One Piece takes. When I
Oh.
said this show will consume you, I meant it. If you know me, you know how my brain works, and if you know how my brain
does your
works,
brain
you
work?
know that when I watch things, this noggin of mine just does not turn off. It's both a blessing and a curse.
Mine's like that every single day.
I wish I could watch things for fun. Anyway, the point I'm getting at here is One Piece is perfect for a head like mine because there are so many things to look at. But I don't just mean lore-wise or visually, but in terms of how this series works as a piece of media overall. People love to make the argument online that anime isn't the only thing out there. There are better things to watch. And they are completely right. It is worth anyone's time to invest in different films or shows outside of the content bubble. My only gripe with that is as much trash anime as there is out there, when there's an anime that does it well, it does it well.
That's true. Like most shonens, I want to say.
It's anime. One Piece feels like that. I know it's the biggest anime right now, and it's by no means overlooked for how influential it is. But I do believe in professional courses of story writing and the effects of the real world in fiction. It's not nearly talked about enough, and that's due to it being a goofy looking anime.
That is fair. Because I also had this problem starting off with One Piece, is that it looked goofy. Like, it wasn't cool looking like Dragon Ball Z or like Hunter x Hunter or Naruto or Bleach. Like, this art style to me was like, I don't know, it was like very like childish and cartoon-like. That's why I didn't appeal to it early on. But I can see why people don't want to watch it because of how it looks. It makes sense.
Honestly, completely, and genuinely say that One Piece does deserve to be up there as some of the best fantasy ever told. You can grumble and gripe all you want, but when it comes to discussing media such as The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, those of course being the granddaddy of all fantasy, One Piece should be something alongside it. And I know it's...
Whoa. Alright. Slow down. Alright, calm down. Alright.
Sounds insane to non-anime watchers, and I can't deny my bias for animation, but I've
been pretty biased.
The ins and outs of so much of
that was
this
a pretty
shit,
crazy
and One
take.
Piece is such a fantastic example of how to world build,
no, I'm not
and
even
how
like
to
finished,
storytell, and how the real world influences the messages in our media, especially of the fantasy genre. I'm kind of going off track here, but I'm sure you can see just how passionate this series has made me, and what I want to discuss is why. Why does this series drive me bonkers, and what is One Piece doing that is keeping it exciting to this day? How is a 25-year-old series still at the top of the anime and manga world, and more importantly, what is it doing that's different? I already said there are so many things to look at in One Piece, and I'm specifically talking from a film point of view. Yes, the characters are amazing. Yes, the story is incredible, but for a show like this to be so successful, it needs more than that. And that thing is formula, but it's not just the formula, it's how it breaks the formula. In my previous video, I mentioned that One Piece has created a formula that can let it go on forever, and I'd like to expand on that. But before I get into that, here's a fun fact that is also relevant. Back in the day when creators would pitch their ideas, what producers cared about was the story. But now, in our current world of oversaturated content and the rapidly pumping film machine that is Hollywood, what producers care about is the world. When you go into a pitch meeting now, you are pitching a world and a concept. The reason for this is because a world can be marketed more, can be milked out, and has a longevity unrivaled to that of a nicely condensed film about, I don't know, a character study. Producers care about media franchises now, more specifically a transmedia franchise. The movies that kickstarted this idea are classics like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Avatar, the blue people one, not the good one. And what cemented and arguably
the blue
made
people
it
one. I still haven't seen the second movie yet.
Marvel's Cinematic Universe.
Marvel
so why am I talking about all this? Because Marvel wishes, they wish they had a world such as One Piece, and this isn't me actively trying to burn Marvel up in flames. What I mean is, Marvel's end is inevitable. The reasons for this are, number one, live action. Live action will always have an earlier cutoff date due to the fact that live action actors age. Number 2,
That
the
is
rapidly
true.
becoming too much to handle release of movies. I know this one sounds insane because Mel, there are over 1,000 episodes and chapters of One Piece,
But it's
but
been
what I
going for
mean
so
is,
long
One
though.
Piece essentially goes in a straight line. It's easy to
Huh?
consume due to just throwing up a chapter or episode and going from A to B. There's not really anything to miss or seek out unless you want to find extra stuff in interviews or articles. Marvel has the issue of if you miss a movie or a TV show, you miss a good
Oh,
chunk of what the hell is happening.
oh. I just got PTSD, so I watched all of She-Hulk. I'm not proud of it either, saying this, but like, it was so bad. It was actually a waste of my time, but I had time to waste, so I watched it, and as precious time I can never get back. It was not worth it. She was literally talking to me for half the series. It's crazy. Like, why? And then she pulled up, spoiler alert, to Universal Studios, I think, and started looking for Kevin Feige to change her script. Like, what? But yeah, Marvel, they need to pick it up because it's not doing very well.
In the next movie. You don't get that with One Piece unless you actively skip an episode or a chapter. Number 3, and this is the biggest one, the
Wait, did she
formula
contradict herself?
episode
Wait,
happening in the next movie. You don't get that with One Piece unless you actively skip an episode or a chapter. Number 3,
that's fair.
and this is the biggest one, the formula. Due to Marvel's Disney overlords, they are stuck in the same
They
formulaic
are,
slop that they just cannot get out of.
and that's
There
my
is a lack of
problem. So with Phase 4 specifically, they follow the same formula of like, oh, the bad guy do bad things, and then the hero comes, and then at the end of the movie, the I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's I had it in my head, right? But I forgot. So ignore that. Let's just keep continuing.
freedom to Marvel that will run it into the ground. I know this isn't the most fair
Oh,
comparison because One Piece isn't exactly a cinematic universe, but the point I'm trying to make here is it's big enough to be one. While One Piece doesn't have movie
does One Piece
premieres
have the
of the
power of
next
friendship?
installment that
Is
makes
my
fans go
question.
crazy.
Like, is it fairy tale bad?
You know what it does have? New chapters, new episodes, new season announcements that always, without fail, has it trending on multiple social media sites. And I am absolutely saying One Piece is incredibly ahead of its time with what it's created, and that ingenuity has made it last this long. So what is
That's
this
fair, yeah.
formula I'm talking about? What is this magical touch One Piece has that's made it unbeatable? It's
Actually,
the
still don't know.
freedom. It's the fact that it can
freedom.
be absolutely anything. The freedom to experiment and to create and to be thrown in absolutely any genre imaginable. And in the somewhat early stages of One
Any
Piece,
gen-
this
wait,
freedom
what?
of genre was discovered, but I believe only recently has it been expanded on and used to its full potential. In the beginning, characters and story writing aside, One Piece was a shonen. They adventured from land to land, but it still felt like a shonen as an overall genre due to the specific tropes. But
Yeah.
in my opinion, this started to change with the introduction of Thriller Bark. You'll have to forgive me because my strong points lie in storytelling and specifically character writing, so I'll try
Yeah,
my
okay.
best to talk genre in a somewhat professional sounding way. I think most can agree that when first watching Thriller Bark, it throws you in for a loop just because of how
I don't know
different
what
it
arc
feels.
this is.
Thriller Bark is essentially
I didn't
One
meet Brooke
Piece's
yet,
Nightmare
or
Before
Brock, whatever his name
Christmas,
is.
and while it's still a fantasy, it's thrown into a different category of fantasy. This isn't just adventure fantasy now, this has been thrown into another subcategory entirely. One Piece has now turned into a work of gothic fiction in this arc alone.
Gothic
And due to One
fiction?
Piece's ability to be
What is
anything
that?
because of the world it's in, it doesn't feel misplaced. It just feels like another part of the world, and another part of the world just happens to be its own genre. Thriller Bark was still a shonen, and it was still heavily relying on the typical shonen tropes. While Thriller Bark didn't exactly dive headfirst into it, and more so just experimented with the idea here and there, it was a taste of bigger things to come. After Thriller Bark, the
Okay.
next two arcs to muddle around with genre were Impel Down and Punk Hazard. Impel Down was a complete Prison Break arc, and while Prison Break films aren't
Oh.
exactly their own genre, throwing away the main cast to focus
wouldn't
solely
say
on
that's-
Luffy and succeeding is such a ballsy move, and it proves One Piece's strong points in its world building and character writing.
Well,
Punk
let me say this, because it's not just One Piece that has the freedom of genre, for say, because Naruto does something like this too. Same with Dragon Ball. It's more like with the anime, so a lot of episodes have the freedom to do whatever they want of genre to say, for say. So I want to say it depends on how long an anime is running for or a show's running for. Because, like I said, Naruto, they have tons of like little prison break and fighting dinosaurs and all kind of stuff that's not that's not like part of its main journey per se. And same with Dragon Ball, they have like tons of that stuff, but I do think it's just because of the length of the show or series, not necessarily because it's free, or maybe it's free because it's that long. I don't know, man, but you know. But then again, these are like official arcs though, because the ones I'm referring to, they might be filler. So, yeah. No, I like
Hazard, on
no.
the other hand, takes such obvious elements from science fiction with the focus on human experimentation and technology, even
Okay.
dabbling in biological warfare and artificial environments. The science fiction element had already been touched on with Kuma and Frankie, but had become completely expanded upon in Punk Hazard.
The
But
science
the
fiction?
most amazing and, in my opinion, most daring experimentation with One Piece's flip of genres is Whole Cake Island. Whole Cake Island feels like One Piece
Whole
decided to
Cake
stop
Island.
pulling its punches and just become a whole new show altogether. While Whole Cake Island has a lot of elements of shonen, I would not predominantly categorize it under shonen. Whole Cake Island is wholly and truly a dark fairy tale. Yeah, there's
A
fights,
dark
but the
fairy
build up for this
tale.
arc wasn't the fight, not between the main villains anyways. The build up was finally saving Sanji and getting him back. Sanji even literally saves the day not by fighting, but by baking a cake. And while that says
Oh,
a lot about
what?
Sanji as a character
Okay.
and ties everything
I
neatly
thought the end of
together,
this was
it
fighting
also says
Katakuri.
a
That's what I
lot about
thought.
what this arc
Not baking
is
a
and what it's
cake.
doing. Whole Cake Island feels like it's actively mocking fairy tales while still being one. And it is fantastic. The arc kicks off by having an amazing musical number from the main
It
villain.
looks so
And it's
like
so spectacular and
childish.
such a testament to just how much One Piece can do because I was so blown away. And it continues throughout the arc. The fairy tale aspect just never lets up. Sanji is the fairy tale prince in this, but he's arguably taking up the role of the princess in distress that needs to be saved by the
Like
knight in shining
Rapunzel.
armor. And I'm not saying this to
But not
project
the
some
night
weird
part.
fantasy. I mean, Luffy is literally his savior and his knight here. And there are so many times Sanji was on the brink of singing an I Want song. If you don't know what an I Want song is, it's basically the songs Disney princesses sing at
Every
usually the beginning of
Disney
movies to
princess sings a
express
song
their
like this.
desires
It
and
gets so
dreams.
annoying.
I fully believed Sanji was about to break out singing at any moment, and I wouldn't have even blinked because that's just what this arc does to you.
I've got a dream. I've got a dream.
This arc has musical numbers
Okay.
throughout, not just in the opening, and the operatic ending that played out as the grand finale to Whole Cake Island was stunning. The romance involved, along with the story and the complications, were all so unique for One Piece. Whole Cake was just Sanji's messed up Cinderella story. He even got beat up by his siblings and cooked for
Dang.
rats. They turned my boy into a Disney princess, and I can't even complain about it because it was such an enjoyable
And this is like
watch. Then it
it's
also
not even a
included
filler
a whole
either.
Power Rangers homage, complete with magical girl transformation sequences. They really just did everything they could in Whole Cake Island, and I appreciate it completely. After
Okay,
one
so that to me, I probably wouldn't find enjoyable to watch, to be honest, because I don't know, it just seems like it's, I don't know, like not the kind of like thing that I want to watch or like expect from like a shonen anime, if that makes sense. Because One Piece is a shonen, and you're coming into it, and then let's say you get to this arc, right, and you're in this Disney princess arc, and you're like, what is going on? Like, I'm not here to watch this. And the only thing leading up to like something good in that arc, it would be Luffy versus Katakuri, and after that, you watch Sanji bake a cake. So it's like, does that meet your expectation of what you're watching? Because you expect a pirate adventure, not like, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. That's just what I think
One
personally.
Piece went balls to the wall with this genre experimentation. We finally got the Wano arc. Wano is so
Oh, that was
stylized and
before
completely
Wano.
takes up the
Okay.
genre of Jidaigeki films.
Yeah, so
Jidaigeki
this is a little
films
bit
are
like
period drama pieces in Japan that are based in the Edo period, and
okay.
Wano went right into it. It was genuinely driving me insane how One Piece could immediately switch from a dark fairy tale to Jidaigeki in back-to-back arcs. But the world lets it do that, and the writing is what makes
Now
everything
that is
so
awesome.
astounding. Completely switching genres like that is something so unique to One Piece, and it's not something a lot of shows, films, or stories in general can do because of the limitations of the world they're set up
Oh
in.
wait. Oh, I think I'm understanding what she's trying to say now. Because at first it wasn't really clicking. I think I know what she means. Like arc to arc, it's like it could be completely different, but still be enjoyable to people. Or like it's like how do I say this in words? Like the story, it can warp and change different ways and aspects of how the story goes, but still having the story make mm, have it makes the story still have a oomph to it. Like it's still enjoyable to watch, but it's different. They put a different spin on it, like every arc. Like how the last arc before Wano, it was like dark fairy tale, she says. But then the Wano arc is more like a it's more like a samurai feudal kind of thing. That's pretty cool. All right, I'll give him that. That's pretty cool.
Because of the limitations of the genre they've stuck themselves in. If One Piece ever became a horror or switched to noir or even went straight into a western, you wouldn't think twice about it because it
Mm-hmm.
can just do that. That is such an insane freedom of writing that's admirable to say the least.
Yeah,
Hell,
that's
the
okay.
movies even explore the possibilities of horror, and there's even a Las Vegas Mission Impossible-esque inspired film. These guys are
Okay.
pirates, and somehow it doesn't feel completely ludicrous that
Yeah,
they
see, that's
become
so weird. Like that's so weird. But the fact that they can pull this off is really impressive. Because you would think they were just strictly pirates in like a set age and time period. But no, they're really not. They can do whatever they want and still have it make sense and still have it be amazing to watch. But I don't know about the whole dark fairy thing, fairy tale. That does not appeal to me at all.
buys for a heist movie. It sounds insane, but it works. To sum this
Hmm.
all up, One Piece has survived so long because it can do whatever it wants and
It's
somehow
adaptive.
still not feel miswritten. This
Hmm.
insane world building has
What
also
the?
given fans
It
a
can
perfect
fly? No
base to create
way.
their own islands and characters and adventures, and it's why the One Piece world is so enticing. One Piece's limit really is your own imagination, and I'm so excited to see
I
what
wonder
else
what
this
One Piece
series
will
will
end.
do and where the characters will go, and especially what genres it plans to explore. I don't know how to wrap this video up, so thank you for watching, I suppose. I always
You're
appreciate it,
welcome.
and I'll hopefully see you in whatever I make next. See ya!
Hmm, okay. That's a well put video. Well put together video. I understand what she's meaning at the end. During like the first part of it in the middle, I was like, huh? For a decent like a tad bit. But yeah, that was a good video. I like that. Anyways, that's that. And I'll catch you guys next one. Bye bye.